Welcome back to Running with Coach Tori.
And Jeff.
And we are bringing you the running news of the week, whether it's to entertain you on your long run or to give you something to talk about with your running group. We've got you covered. And today we're going to do a little bit of news and then we're going to play. I guess it's kind of play. Is that a game? Would you rather? Or is it just questions? I guess it's just questions.
It's a game.
Yeah. So we're going to play a little running Would You Rather. So please feel free to comment any of your answers or leave a review with your answers as well to make it extra fun. I was about to cough. I was just saying that I have a throat issue, but then we were talking about how just talking is hard. So welcome to the podcast where all we're doing is talking. Any running updates? I feel like it's been a while since I've asked how running's going.
Yeah, actually, I'm since I'm in Florida, I've been pretty consistent. I ran 6.5 miles. The other day, I took the car in for service, and it was about 7 miles away. So it had to stay overnight. So instead of Ubering there, I decided, you know what, I'm in good shape, so to speak. I've been running consistently 3 miles. So I tried 7. It didn't go quite as well. I mean, it was probably a couple of walks. I know there was a couple of walks in there, but it's also hot. It was 88 degrees, and it's like 90% humidity down here. So it's like a little bit different environment. But anyway, so I've been running consistently. I've been lifting consistently. I'm finally feeling like I'm back on track. You know what's motivating me, by the way? It's the update you'll probably get, which is your 5K time. I'm like, oh man, I know if we're both in shape, you're faster than me in probably every event, just because of age differences and talent. But I'm like, okay, I'm still trying to hang on that maybe I can beat your 5K time. Because I don't think I have a time in mind historically that I bet that's better than that. I don't think I've ever beaten your current time. So that's my motivation, is your current 5K time. That's my update.
That's fun. Yeah, no, I feel like there's definitely been times where I've done the either it's take your car to whatever, or I'll just run home because I can do it, right? And then you're like, oh, wow, okay, I can do it, but should I do it is a different question.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was asking myself halfway there.
Yeah. It's from 3 to 7. That can be a tough jump. I feel like it's kind of a lot.
Yeah, I think I could have just kept going, but I'm also being conscious of trying to keep my heart rate, out of the red zone. I mean, so as soon as it goes into the red zone, I'm just going back and walking. I could certainly power through it, but what I do find is I don't feel great the next couple of days. Like I feel like my heart's a little bit more racy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to keep it out of the red zone until I do some real speed work. Then I don't mind going to the red zone. But if I'm just doing a long run or a quote easy run, I shouldn't be in the red zone.
Yeah, no, that's true. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess my only running update is I ran a 5K on 4th of July, and I maybe have run once since then now, and that was 11 days ago. And this is the thing, right? Like, as the summer gets me with the consistency, it is just so hard to find the time to run because, I'm waking up at 5 and then kids up at 5:05. Like, well, didn't get my run done, and 4:45 isn't even going to be enough time, so I'm not pushing it any earlier. And then, after bedtime, it's hard to run on the treadmill, all the things, right? So yeah, not running a whole bunch, but I did do a 5K on the 4th of July, which was like a spur of the moment 5K, which was fun. It was like 22:40 something, I think, which I was like, I'll take it. Because I was guessing it would be like 23 something. And I'm like, all right, there's still a little there. And I definitely backed off a little bit in the middle because I was like, oh man, the first 800 meters, I was like, oh, I'm cooked. Like, this is not good. And it was even like a crowded race too. So I wasn't even able to just jet away. Not like I could have done that anyway, but I was like, whew, wow, I'm feeling it already. And I'm like, I have quite a ways to go. So yeah, it's always fun to, exceed your expectations. But I also think I do a good job of not having high expectations when it comes to running anymore. So yeah, that was fun, and kind of got me a little motivated as well of like, all right, so untrained I can run this. If I actually was like trying to be running a 5K distance and put a little work into that, I'm sure I could get that number down, which would be fun just to have something to do. And I feel like if I focus on 5K training, then I'm going to have like, it's much more in my head. I think it's going to be much more doable. And then I'm like, I still don't have time to do that. So who knows? But I'm like, at least it's more manageable. Be like, okay, a 30-minute run or a 45-minute workout is much easier than being like, I got to go out for 90 minutes, 2 hours, that kind of thing for, the half marathon or marathon training. So yeah, so I'm trying to think of like if I want to do a fall race, and I think we've talked about this like a bunch of times. I don't know. Still up in the air of what I would want to sign up for. I
Yeah,
think.
we should decide on that because well, one, I think your time was about what, 7 minutes, 15 seconds per mile average.
Mhm.
So for me, that certainly is a good pace. I think I could do it. I think, I was in shape a year ago. I felt like some of my training runs were in that ballpark. So I think I can do it. But thinking you can do it and doing it are, as you know, two different things.
Right.
And like you, like the 5Ks we did do, I did find that even with warming up, man, it's that first half mile. I was gasping for air and thinking, oh my god, I can't believe I can't sustain this pace.
Yeah.
And then you sort of get into that rhythm in the middle that you okay, I'm still gasping for air, but it's not getting any worse.
Right.
And then then at the end you're really gasping as you're sort of trying to kick it in. But yeah, I think we should decide. Should we decide on a distance today? Like what do we want to do? There's probably some big 5Ks or big 10Ks we could do. I think our choices are right. 5K, 10K, 10-mile half marathon are probably our choices for the fall. I'm not going to commit to a marathon.
Correct. Same.
So are you thinking? I mean, 5K. There's probably some big 5Ks out there. Um, I would say if I was going to veto one, I'll veto half marathon. So we're now down to 10, 10K, or 5K. What's your vote? What's your veto?
I'll cut out the 10 miler then.
Oh, so we're down to 10K or 5K. All right. We'll both say the same thing simultaneously. What do you want to run? Ready? One, two, three.
10K.
10K.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Perfect.
Now we got to find one because that's a little trickier. I have one in mind and I'll send it to you later.
Oh, I mean, you have one in mind. We're good to go. How far out
Yeah,
is it?
I'm like pretty sure there's one end of August, early September. I'll send it to you. If I can find it, I will send it to you.
Okay. So we're on the hook now on this podcast that we're going to do a 10K in the fall, all out, our best efforts ever.
Okay, I will have to find time to run now because I can
Okay.
run a 5K in my sleep. I don't know if I can do a 10K in my sleep. We'll have to see. Um, all
All
right,
right. So
cool.
we just jump into some news.
Yeah, sorry everyone. If you want to
Okay.
run a
All right.
10K with us, join us.
Yeah. So let's jump into some news. So I got like sort of three, I'll call them stories for lack of a better term, like events that have been going on this past week. So you have sort of in the world of track and field, and then Diamond League was this past weekend. That was Monaco. And I think the highlights there would be Noah Lyles has sort of run for the first time in, I mean, I can't even remember the last time. It's been almost a year that I've seen him in sort of a real track and field event. And he was in the 200 meters for the Diamond League in Monaco. And in that same race was Tobago, who was the Olympic champion and also in the 200 meters. So it was a good head-to-head competition. Noah Lyles did come out ahead. Um, it was a 19.88, so 19 seconds, 0.88, which is a little bit slower than the Olympic time, which I think was low 19s for Tobago. So again, it's hard to tell when people are in, what kind of shape they're in. Are they in sort of ramping up, or for the World Championships, or are they getting close to peak? So we'll see. I think I'm looking forward to the World Championships in about a month. Other things in that same event, I mean, Mondo, which I trashed, I think last week a little
Yeah.
bit for his world record efforts. again, the guy's amazing. I will say, he is probably the best athlete in track and field. Is that a crazy thing to say?
I don't think it's a crazy thing to say because I've seen him compete and can appreciate the talent. I think it's just so hard because, like we talked this before, like track and field are just so like, why are these things even together now, right? Because like, yeah, it is just such a hard thing to be like, let's put all these people with different specialties in the same category and be like the best athlete, you know? But yeah, he's incredible. So
Yeah,
that's
because
cool.
it is an event that sort of, it does require, speed. Because I know he does have speed. I think he did sort of one of these like weird races against
Mhm.
400-meter guy, and I think he won.
Yeah.
Um, but it was like a 100-meter race. So I mean, he's certainly fast. He's certainly, you think about the strength required to sort of run at that speed, put the pole on the ground, and then consistently, you know, get to, you got to hit everything perfect, right? You got to hit the right speed, the right pull on the pole to get the bend to go exactly straight up and not like a little bit backwards or a little bit too far forward. So, skill wise, it's probably one of the most technically challenging events in track and field. Um, right? I mean, the other ones are really much more, I think, just talent based and not necessarily skill based.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm going to argue that even though I trashed him last week because he doesn't sort of, I want to see him break the record by 6 inches. That's just set out there that no one will achieve. Because I think what we don't know is, well, he pulls an abdominal muscle in 6 months, and I think with this age, what do you see? Probably 25, 26. I think you feel like you're invincible, but things happen,
Hmm.
and you just sort of just lose it, and you aren't able to get back to at those same levels. So
You want to see him
anyway,
like
that was
put it all out there and then,
yeah, go all out. So you don't break the record 10 times next year. This way you break it once and you set it for all of time. I think one
yeah.
of those most iconic records was sort of Bob Beamon in 1968 broke the long jump world record by like a foot,
Hmm.
and it stood for like 20 some years. And I just think something like that's iconic.
Yeah.
Um, and the 800-meter was interesting. You had, Wignoni, who's the Olympic champion. Josh Hoey came in second. So Wignoni won it. Josh Hoey was second. A rope, which you saw in Philadelphia, was fifth. He's the current world champion. And then I think that's really pretty much um, the highlights for the sort of the Monaco League. Speaking of losing it, there was also a track meet in, I think, Memphis, and the thing Mo ran. So
Hmm.
if you recall who she is, right? She's the 800-meter Olympic champion from 5 years ago, and she fell in the most recent Olympic trials in the U.S. and didn't make the team. So it was devastating. So she's been on sort of a comeback run, but she was like running like the mile, and she ran the half mile in or the 800 meters in the Prefontaine Classic last week. She was like 2:03 near the last, bottom of the field. She did run this past weekend also, so a week after Prefontaine. Finished like sixth. She ran like a 2 minutes, so she's still not certainly looking good for the World Championships. But I think she took 3 seconds off her time, but she was 2 seconds behind the winner, which was a pretty stacked field. So again, I think she on the comeback trail. I don't know whether it's more injury, psychological. I think she was also getting married this past year, so there's probably a lot of things distracting her from focusing solely on track and field. So we'll see. I'm a big fan of the thing, Mo. I hope she gets back to top of the top of the heap.
Yeah, no, definitely was a big fan. Not was, definitely am a big fan. Just haven't thought about her in a while. Just because, yeah, I mean, honestly, it took me a minute to remember when I was like reading all these things in the past couple weeks. I'm like, what is her comeback from? Because it just, she fell in the trials, and then you just kind of forget that like, oh yeah, she was amazing and she exists because she's kind of been out of the scene since then. And like you said, she got married, so I don't even know what her new last name is, but um yeah, like
I think
she
it's Mo still. I don't know that she changed it.
Oh,
No,
okay. Well,
she might have.
I thought she had like a hyphen now, but so yeah, I mean, I honestly just forgot about her. And then yeah, I think it's probably so hard to come back and be. Yeah, I know she had the fall, but then injuries, and it can be really hard to bring it all back in. And I saw lots of people just kind of discussing like she's running really wide on the turns now, and she's adding like all this extra space between her and athletes, and blah 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 blah. And yeah, she dropped 3 seconds in a week, which is great. And if she's continuing on that trajectory, like she'll be close to her Olympic times. But also like that's not always feasible and how that goes. And she, from what I heard, because I didn't watch everything, it's not like she looked like she had lots left in the tank, after running that 2 minute flat 800 this past week. So hoping for a comeback because that's always nice to see. And she was always great and inspirational. So fingers crossed. But yeah, kind of a bummer, to watch people have a tough time.
Yeah, there's got to be certainly, I think, a mental aspect to. There is certainly a mental aspect to track and field, and especially when I know the World Championships happen all the time, but annually, but the Olympics are sort of the big showcase, and to train for 3 years and have fall, take you out of the Olympic as the Olympic champion. Again, just mentally devastating, and so I feel like that's probably part of the comeback effort is just to get back. And as you know, just everyday people, I'm sure they have the same issues. We have the same issues with our own training, right? Getting into that routine, getting into that grind to get back to peak physical condition. I'm sure it's 10 times harder for a professional athlete, but
For sure.
yeah, to just get back to that level has got to be challenging. So anyway, so I thought that was good. So more about her hopefully in the World Championships. So the other thing is, so Grand Slam track. I don't know if you've been seeing any of the stories, but there's a lot about people not being paid. Um,
Hmm. Yikes.
yeah, and I will say, so I guess my question to you is: do you think these guys? Do you think this is going to be like a scandal in track and field where they basically don't pay the athletes? So before I have you answer, I guess part of what I've seen is there's a lot of stories about it, but what I haven't seen, and maybe you have, is the athletes themselves who are owed the money. They're not coming out and trashing Grand Slam sports. So what I can't tell is whether underneath the contracts have sort of all stipulated the payments roll on the back end, so they're concerned, but not like, hey, I'm suing you. I don't know. I don't know if you've seen anything about this Grand Slam and sort of the little bit of a controversy around the fact that they canceled the last event and now a bunch of athletes are owed money.
Yeah, no, I think I've seen similar things to you where it's like people talking about how this is happening. And I know that like Sydney McLaughlin's name was thrown in there, but I don't believe it was like a first person narration of like her saying this is what's going on or this is how I feel, but it was like she's owed this amount of money, blah 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 blah, and then like continuing on in the article. So yeah, it's hard to say what's going on. You obviously you'd want to think the best of everything and that like it's all going to work out. I mean, you and I've talked that we were a little like, yikes, once they had to cancel that last one, it just doesn't like bode well. And even actually before that, you were talking about how the stands were empty and, Michael Johnson just keeps having his positive spin on it. And yeah, I hope for the best because it was definitely fun to see. And, um, I like that we're trying to do something innovative. So it would just be such a bummer if like someone's trying to do something and it just completely flops and then like all track and field turns against because there already was a lot of naysayers and I think those people are continuing to like be brought up also in this like the people who are complaining that there's no field events are now like yeah well no one's even getting paid and blah 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 blah. But I mean that it was a huge amount of money and maybe it'll just take a little bit of time for it to appear and hopefully that doesn't burn any bridges with the people who signed up. It doesn't seem like it's great though, but I don't want to think there's
No,
anything like nefarious happening yet.
yeah, there's enough smoke that it seems like there could be a problem.
Yeah.
Um, it certainly is possible, right? Some of the investors haven't paid up. I mean, maybe they didn't get what they felt like they deserved, and so they're disputing the contract. Um, so if Michael Johnson and Grand Slam Track doesn't have the cash from the investors yet, then they could have a problem. So, I'm not going to hit the panic button yet and say, and trash Grand Slam track for this. Because again, I don't see the contracts. And so I'm going to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt that maybe some of this is just contractual, that maybe the investors owe money, but they also aren't required to pay yet. So therefore they don't have the cash. So again, more to come on that one. I hope it works out. I'm not sure why Grand Slam track went so big with the payments. Like, so, we talked about that. Like, winners get like $100,000, and the appearance fees are significant. When you look at the Diamond League, I think the Diamond League winners get like $10,000. So
Yeah.
it's just like oh, did you have to go that big? And it's great that the athlete. I love the fact the athletes are getting paid because I do want to see track and field grow. But I just don't know that you had to make a swing that big. Now, hopefully, again, it's all going to work out. I don't think they got the TV money that they were hoping for, and certainly didn't grow the way that I think that they were hoping for. So we'll see. Well, and the last thing was I had on this side was on the ultra side of running was the Hard Rock 100. So if you recall, it is one of the big, I'll call it ultras. I mean, it's not in the top probably 3 or 4, but Courtney Dahlwalter 2 years ago, won Western States, which is in the top 5, I'd call of ultras. Won the Hard Rock 100, which is only less than a month after Western States, and then won UTMB, which is about a month after today. So, that was certainly probably the 3 biggest wins you can get in that time period. So that was this past weekend. Courtney Dahlwalter was not in it, but the winner was, let's see, Katie Scheid, and apparently she and Courtney go back and forth on, winning these big events. So she did break Courtney's time. She did beat the next closest woman by 3 hours. The times are like 25 hours, so these are big events. It's 100 miler, so and that's really it. I think on the men's side, it was all won by French men. Again, nothing wrong with French men. It was really just more from the standpoint of just from a U.S. standpoint, it really wasn't significant. They're not names I recognize. I'm sure they're great names in ultra running, but
Yeah.
people I recognized.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's all I got on the news side. No world records. I know we talk a lot about world records, and it really hasn't been that many set this year. I mean, when you think about true track and field, much of one of these niche ones. I mean, the indoor 5,000, the indoor 3,000. There's a bunch of world records that are being set that really I won't call them that are Olympic track and field records. I mean, Mondo certainly got a couple. He's got one this year. The ones that just past weekend were the only other 2 or 3 that have been out there in 2025, right? The women's 1500 and then the women's 5,000. I think 2 weeks ago was set at the Prefontaine Classic. So there really hasn't been as many as I'm sort of expecting. So my question to you is going to be, what do you think the next world record set in track and field will be? You have to sort of go to your memory banks. Is it going to be? I'll let you go with any track and field event, but it has to be an Olympic level. Can't be like a 3,000, which isn't really an Olympic event.
I feel like it's gonna be like like women's long jump or something.
Okay, you're going to
It's
go
gonna be
with a
something I
preliminary.
don't know.
Okay, yeah, I think if there was a betting odds, I don't know, does Mondo get the number 1 seed? Is he the most likely guy, or is it on the women's side, Faith Kipyegon? I mean, is she apt to set another world record after just setting one in the 1500? All right, so
Maybe, right?
yeah, what's that?
I said maybe.
Yeah,
I like that idea.
yeah. All right, so you're definitely going women's event. I'll go men. I'm going to say the men are going to step up and be the next to break a world record. We'll see. We'll keep track.
Yeah, you'll be on World Record Watch. All right, let's pivot away from the news for a little bit of Would You Rather. All right, some of these I'm gonna skip, and of course these are Chat GPT generated Would You Rather's, because it's just so much easier than thinking. Um, so first one is, Would you rather run a marathon without training or sprint a 5K at your 100% effort every weekend for a month?
Ooh. Oh wow! When you first started that, I'm like, that's an easy one. The 5K. I'll take the short pain, but I got to do it all the time. Like,
For one
ooh,
month. So that's 4 times.
yeah. I'll go. I just ran 7 miles. I'm like, you know what? I can run a half marathon.
But it's a full
Is it?
marathon.
Oh, okay. You know what? Okay, I'll take the 5K every weekend. Fine.
Yeah, no, same. I would say I've ran a marathon with not no training, but like not enough training. And I think I was like crippled for like a month. So yeah, no, pass on that. I'll do the 5K and just be tired, I think.
But the worst part of a marathon is the training, right? So if you just could say, you know what? Okay, it's just going to be one day of pain.
I guess you could like
Then,
walk it, right? You walk it.
yeah, you can walk. It's still probably 3 hours of your day, or maybe more of that, like
If
four or
you're
5 hours of
walking,
your day.
my
Five,
gosh.
sorry, 5 hours of your day. Um, but yeah, it's one day of pain versus okay every weekend. I mean, I think after you run that 5K all out, you're like, oh, I got to do this 3 more times. I'm still gonna pick the 5K, but only because it's probably better for me than the walking one time.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm still not sold on the marathon without training. Um, all right, here's one that I'm like, I feel like I cannot relate to. Would you rather get a new PR but lose your GPS watch data or run your slowest race ever but have the perfect Strava statistics?
Yeah, one I probably can't relate to. It's like, would I rather, run a great marathon and then lose my shoes at the end, or run a
Right,
bad marathon and keep my shoes?
right.
Yeah, I'm not a Strava guy, so I'm going to say, I'd rather run the good race.
Yeah, same. Because I'm like, I don't do anything with my GPS data. Like, I barely look at it for running stuff. So I agree. Also, that one, because I don't feel like I need that other stuff.
Yeah, I'm not even on Strava, so are you? Do you
No,
track your
I think
run?
I had it for like a very brief amount of time, and then I was like, why do I have this?
Yeah, I do. I certainly track everything on my watch, but I don't. I don't upload anything into Strava. So,
No. Would you rather run 10 miles barefoot on a beach or 5 miles uphill nonstop? This feels
mm,
easy.
at 10 miles on a beach, I'm going to pick 10 miles on a beach because it seems like that would be relaxing. It seems like it would be relaxing. I do know that like after a couple miles, your calves are going to be killing you
For sure.
running barefoot. Just like the amount of, but I'll still pick that. The beach seems like that's a romantic, pleasant. So in my mind, it doesn't seem as bad as I'm sure the reality would be. And I don't like running uphill either.
Yeah, I mean, what 5 miles uphill is that like over Mount Everest a couple times? Like I don't even know distances like that. How tall is Mount Everest? I feel like that would be insane.
25,000 feet, so or 26, so, in
Okay,
that
so
range.
close, right? It's like
Yeah,
close to the
so
same.
it's up there. It's yeah,
Yeah,
but
no, no,
yeah,
thank you.
I guess that would be straight up too. But so it's probably if you were going to run Mount Everest, it's probably. I mean, even if it was a 45-degree angle, it's still probably that's 10 miles probably of running if you
Uh,
were at sea level.
yeah,
So
no, sounds horrible. I'll do 10 miles barefoot on a beach because I'm like, if it's not a rocky beach too, like it's not even hurting your feet. So
yeah,
I'll take
if you
that.
start throwing a rocky beach with seashells and everything into it, like okay, I'll put shoes
Jellyfish
on, I'll
and
run uphill.
yeah, horrible. All right. Would you rather have endless energy for running but always have sore legs or never feel soreness but fatigue hits hard every run?
I'll pick A, only
Yeah.
because as I've gotten older, like I always hurt. So it's that's what they don't tell you about aging. It's like all those things that like hurt once in a while, like they hurt every day now.
Oh
So
no.
yeah. So I'm gonna say I'll pick the in pain.
All right, I'll finally pick the opposite of you and never feel soreness but fatigue hits hard every run. I'll just run shorter. Like as soon as I'm tired, I'll just stop. Like I don't have any goal. It's fine.
Yeah, I'd love to have endless endurance. Like that's what you dream about. Like I just running and like never fatiguing. Like I could just run a marathon with and be it would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like even if I'm not actually fatigued, if my legs hurt, I'm going to be like, I'm tired. I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. Okay, this one I feel like we're going to also agree on. Would you rather have to talk to every runner you pass or never be allowed to talk during group runs?
That's an easy one. I'm
Right.
never talking. Never talking.
Never talk ever. Shoot, not even group runs, just never talk ever again. Like,
Yeah, I
forget
could.
it.
I mean, yeah, like, I would do well in like solitary confinement. Like, I don't really feel the need to talk. Like, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I need human
Yeah,
companionship.
no,
I know
introverts.
that sounds terrible, but I mean, I do like human companionship. I just don't feel like the need to talk to people.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's see. Okay, would you rather run a major world marathon in a mascot suit or pace a beginner runner at their first 5K every weekend?
I hate mascots, so I'm not picking the mascot one. I'm going B. I'll pace the new runner.
Yeah, also that doesn't even sound bad. Like, okay, so you get to run a slower 5K every
Yeah,
weekend? Sure. That's
that's so easy. And again, I hate mascots. I think mascots should be beat up.
oh
Again,
my God.
I'm not condoning violence. That's
Yeah,
it's
what? Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not trying to do a mascot suit unless I'm like getting a world record or Guinness World Record. I don't know. I'm probably still not doing that. Would you rather have a coach that always pushes you too hard or one that never lets you push yourself? I don't know how that's possible, but
yeah. I mean, I think ultimately I would rather have the coach that pushes you to greater heights. I mean, that's at the end when you look back. I think that's so on a daily basis, you might prefer the slacking coach, but when you do look back in your life, you're going to say, yeah, I'm thankful now, like of the coaches I had in high school and college that do try to get the best out of you. So I'm going to go with that one.
agreed. I think this one we might agree on as well. Would you rather never be allowed to run the same route twice or only be allowed to run one route forever?
I ran the same route for a lot of my life, so I'm going to pick the same route all the time.
Yeah, I feel like there's something about, and obviously I don't do this because like safety and all the things of like, mixing things up. But I feel like when you run a new route that's like it's not even familiar to you, like this used to happen to me on vacations. If it's like I have no gauge of like these landmarks and stuff, like and I'm sure it's a mental thing that I could get over, but like I feel like it's so much it's giving you like the treadmill kind of effect of like I've been doing this forever because you're like I'm lost, I don't know where I'm going. I have no this tree doesn't mean anything to me yet, you know what I mean? So, yeah, definitely would like to do same forever if possible, I would
Yeah.
think.
So back to mascots, right? I think you, if I recall, I've seen you in a Pikachu outfit before, right? In a photograph, like you weren't, aren't you? Oh, maybe your friend was Pikachu and you were somebody else for Halloween.
Yes, I was like a normal superhero and I was posing with a Pikachu, but I do have I am a costume person. I don't.
Yeah,
So
that's my point. So
mascot's like Chuck E. Cheese to me. Like it's the Chuck E. Cheese guy. It's the weirdos at Disney World. The Mad Hatter who was like rude to me when we were kids, right? Like those are mascots. Costumes is different. I wear a costume because I wear costumes like often. I like a costume. I don't like a mascot. It's the head thing. I think. I don't know.
I think those are one and the same. Do you not have a cheek? Not Pikachu. Don't you have a Chewbacca?
I don't know if I still do, but I mean, up until like a year or two ago, I wore that more often than just like Halloween. And I had a Cookie Monster one. I had a flying squirrel as well. Like I like I like it's only if it's a onesie costume though, because it's basically pajamas that's like fun. But yeah, I did wear that Chewbacca outfit places. So
All
yeah.
right. Well, so will you commit to running in your Chewbacca outfit if you still have it, or a different costume for one of our runs in the future?
For sure, but now I'm like a freak about like natural fibers, right? Because I'm just turning into a crazy person. So like only if it's not made with like polyester or something
All right.
stupid
Can
like
I buy you an outfit that you'll wear for one of the things? I won't tell you what it is and just give it to you the day of.
as long as you're within reason of like the temperature, right? Like if we're doing a Florida race and I have to wear the Chewbacca suit, like I'm gonna die. You know what I mean? But yes, I can agree to it if you're like thinking in reason.
Okay, yeah, I would imagine what that would smell like. It's
Horrible.
like a wet Chewbacca,
Yeah, sound like a
sweaty wet.
dog. Disgusting. But I
Right.
would.
So back to running things.
I would. Okay, we have like let's see. Let's do one more. Would you rather always have to wear brand new shoes on race day or race in shoes with 1,000 miles on them? I feel like this we might disagree.
Brand new shoes. Brand new shoes.
You are so crazy for that.
No, no.
So crazy.
I'm finding I went out. I have that shoes that have 1,000 miles on them, and my hips were hurting,
Hmm.
and so I'm like, oh, you know what? I wonder if it's the shoes. Like it's not age. It's not that I'm getting older.
No.
Why are my hips hurting? I'm not going to break a hip. I'm not that old. So I went out and bought new shoes, and my hips don't hurt anymore. Lo and behold, look at that.
I don't know. Born to Run would be shame on you. It's wear those old shoes.
No, they do not. There's no cushioning in old shoes. So there is a reason. I know Nike puts out that you need to change them every 500 miles. It's probably not 500. It's probably more like 1,000. But yeah, you should change your shoes if you're feeling a little bit aches and pains.
Yeah, and you know what I've noticed? I will start changing mine when like the sole has worn in such a strange like way. I'm like the sole's now worn out and the grip too, because you do start to lose that the traction in there. So I am also not always wearing the oldest of shoes, but I do like an older shoe better. It takes me a long time to like a new one, honestly. So I'll go old shoe. All right. Well, that's all we got for today. Hopefully some of those would you rathers were fun. I kind of like that kind of stuff. So as I'm always trying to introduce like some kind of silly game, right? But yeah, we will catch you guys next week, whether it's with a news episode or some kind of evergreen episode. Make sure you like, rate, review, subscribe, send to a friend, write a review, answer the would you rathers, any of the things. We will catch you next week.